Alright, hello and welcome to another Train Sim World 2 video, and as you've guessed by the title, we're going to be driving the 166 today. And we're going from Eastbourne all the way to Glynde, or Glynde, or something like that. Anyway, 166, obviously a diesel multiple unit. And we got the 3-car variant today. Would do the 6-car, except I prefer the 3-car if I'm completely honest. It's just a much smaller thing. We are driving at about 5 o'clock in the morning. I think it's 4:30. Yeah. So with that in mind, it's going to be pretty much a nighttime drive here today. So not much traffic on the line, not many things to see. I am using scenario planner mode. We are on the East Coast way, so yeah, just to keep in mind. I'll probably release this as a no commentary video as well at some point. I don't really know when I'll do that. Now, I would set up a second channel just for the no commentary stuff, but I don't really want to do that, particularly because it's just a bit of hassle, really, you know, because I have to change over to a different channel every single time I want to upload to a different one, and I think it's just going to get a lot messier. So I'll think about organising my playlist a bit better and see where we go from there. So, in the last video I believe I updated you about my vaccination situation. It's been a long while since I've had that, and I'm feeling better now. Everything's perfectly fine, you know, no pain, no illness, no nothing. So that so, sorry, excuse me, I still do have to clear my throat. But, yeah, that went well. So, nothing to really complain about or report there. Now, I have been looking over a couple of things related to Train Sim World 2 recently. Cane Creek has got a preview stream out at the moment if you'd like to go and watch that. I believe I'm a couple of days late on that, telling you about it, but if you want to go watch it, that's, you know, completely up to you. Me personally, I don't find Cane Creek interesting, other than the landscape is very well done, it looks like. But as for the actual rolling stock, I pretty much have all of it already, just in a different livery. And to be honest, don't really want to drive the American locomotives at all. I don't have anything against American trains. I think they're pretty cool, it's just that driving them in a simulator is just not interesting to me, personally. So if you are interested in those, please do check them out and see what you make of Cane Creek. Hoping that it's going to be a real crowd pleaser for everybody who enjoys that kind of thing. Now, my game, my whole idea is that I do passenger services because I am a passenger service nut. That is what I consider trains to be the best at, right? That is what my vision is. When I think of a train, it's always a passenger train. It's never a freight train. Although I don't hate freight services. I may do some in the future with videos, but no promises there. I realise that a lot of it has been passenger related stuff. However, looking to do some freight stuff maybe in the future. So that'll be nice, And, you know, other things that have sort of caught my attention. I was watching the latest roadmap stream. The latest one, as of right now, as of when I'm recording this, is from the 15th of June. So that's quite a ways back, I know. I mean, right now, it's, 2 o'clock in the morning on the 29th of June. So there should be a roadmap stream later on today, about like 8-9 o'clock in the UK. So I'll be looking forward to that. Looking forward to finding out what's going on with Train Sim World 2. Looking forward to hearing some news about, first of all, 313. Whether we're going to get a preview stream for that or not, I hope that we are. I hope that we're going to get some screenshots anyway. Which we probably are, to be honest with you. And also hearing about the West Cornwall local line, Truro to St Ives to Penzance, I believe. It's those three. And hearing about what locomotives will be chosen for that one, because I'm just going to be blunt. I don't really like any of the modern locomotives that they use on that line. I've got a feeling they still use the Class 150s, but I think they use the Class 600s now in GWR livery. I think it's the 600s. And to be brutally honest with you, I don't want to drive the Class 600. I would much rather drive a HST and the Class 150, or maybe even a Pacer unit, or something like that. Something that's a bit out of left field, but also makes sense. An old HST would just be the bee's knees, really. It would just be excellent, in my opinion. Though, I don't know if the route is long enough to warrant using a HST. I'm not particularly sure. I mean, it might feel a bit empty without it, because I think they go down there quite a bit. With the era situation, I think it's 1990 to 2010, and I don't know when the Class 600s were actually added, in real life, implemented into that route, so hopefully it's just the older rolling stock with that, the older trains and whatnot. Class 150, yeah, definitely would be interested. And as far as when that's coming out, I do not know. I would think at the end of the year, probably, but it might be the beginning of next year. They are focusing mostly on rush hour, which is fast upcoming in terms of... They gave a date which is pretty much the end of August is when we can expect it at the latest, but no solid actual days or dates to speak of. It's just that, expect it before the end of August, really. So that should be good for everybody who's excited about rush hour. Honestly, I'm in two minds about it. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's completely unnecessary. I'm just thinking, will I get much use out of it? Is it something that appeals to me? If I'm completely honest, the only thing that would appeal to me would be the UK route that's included, which means I get another German and a US route that I just will never use. I have nothing against those routes. It's like, it's not as if I don't want them in the game. I understand why they are in the game, because that's where the main market is. In the UK, in the USA, and also in Germany, there's quite a big following for train simulators in general. So it makes sense. But am I going to get much use out of it? If I do get it, I doubt it. To be honest, I'd only really be doing the Brighton main line. That's it. And there's only really one new locomotive for that one. And it's not really new, it's like a Class 377 that's just been painted differently and it can go a bit faster. Yeah. That doesn't really sound very appealing to me personally, but I am looking forward to seeing what they come out with rush hour, because it sounds like an interesting concept. Whether it's something that they're gonna expand upon in the future, I do not know. It's not like it's a separate game or a separate entity. It's just another DLC, but it introduces some mechanics that are going to be exclusive to it until they work out how they're going to implement it thereafter. Because it is a bit up in the air. They would prefer it if they could implement rush hour mechanics across all of the DLCs that we've currently got and all upcoming ones. It would be nice if they could do that, because that means we're going to get more passengers per route, and it seems to be very balanced between console and PC players in terms of what we want. Is it necessary? Not really. The amount of passengers has never really been on my top of my priorities when it comes to simulation. I just think that it's an interesting idea, and I hope that it goes where they want it to go. That's all I'm saying. What else? Well, talking a bit more about the 313, it has been put into production again. It's at that stage, and the reason it's there is simply put by the team. We weren't happy with how it was, so we put it back into production. Which part of me thinks I have a theory as to why that is. It might be because of the Armstrong Powerhouse sounds being used on 314, and they probably thought, you know what, we might as well go and ask them for the 313 as well. I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe. It would be the most likely thing, because they said it was pretty much finished. It was in testing before that, so what part have they missed other than that? So yeah, I don't know, maybe they had a rethink and wanted to do some more services for it or something else, I don't know. But we'll see how that turns out. My main concern with the 313 is not really its fault. It's nobody's fault really. For the simple reason, it's going to be pretty similar to the Class 314. I mean, it is pretty much the forerunner, if you like, to the 314. There are some differences, and those differences are quirky differences. They're things that you might not necessarily notice. So the 313 on the East Coast Way will be using shoe gear for the third rail, whilst the 314 we obviously know has a pantograph, and that attaches to the overhead catenary, which is on the Glasgow Cathcart Circle route. So the 313 won't have a pantograph, even though the original 313s had both of these methods. So it is, in the simplest way possible, it's sort of like the Class 395, which we've already got. You know, it has a pantograph and it has third rail shoes. So it can do both in reality, but the ones operating by Southern Rail, you know, currently, which is where we're going to get the delivery that the Class 313 is going to come in the game, it's going to be on the East Coast Way. That only uses the third rail, because there is no pantograph on the East Coast Way route, at least not that I can think of. I mean, there's none here, so there you go, there's your proof. But yeah, that's the case with that. I was going to say gears. The gears are different, but it doesn't use gears. The throttle is different. It uses series, parallel, shunt, you know, those options, rather than 1, 2, 3, 4 like we've got on the 314. So that's another difference. The exterior wise will of course be different because of the livery. The interior will probably be different as far as the actual train cabin goes, so the passenger area, because the 314 I don't think had an update until pretty late in its life, or if it did, then it's already in the game. Basically, the 313 units that are on the East Coast Way are going to be more modern than the 314 is. So it's going to have some features that are more modern, you know, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I think it does. Whether the cab will be super different, I do not know. I'm hoping that it is. You can tell the difference between the two somehow, because these videos, they don't only focus on the exterior, they're also about the interior as well, so viewing from the cab. So if you just can't distinguish one from the other, is there much point in getting the 313 and using it? In my opinion, for videos, no. For gameplay, I mean, I suppose I could do some services on the East Coast Way with it to spice things up, but realistically speaking, you know, I don't want them to be too samey, because the 377 and 375, they're very, very similar already, but you know, you can tell them apart because of the exterior. There's also some minor interior differences in the cab. So yeah, I'm just saying, I'll check it out. I'm hoping that that DLC add-on will not be super expensive either. Mostly because they've already got the 314. They've already got that. So it would be like making you pay like $11.99 for essentially what you've got already if you've got the DLC. So yeah, hoping that's not going to be super expensive. There's no price that's been laid down yet, I don't think. And yeah, I think that's everything for the news, at least as far as what I'm interested in. If you are interested in something else, you should go to the roadmap or watch one of the roadmap streams to get a good idea as to what's coming up and what isn't. And yeah, that's where you're going to find your information. There's not much more to say about that than what I just said. Now, as far as other things Train Sim World related, I have considered making tutorial videos. That hasn't really gone down well. The reason it hasn't gone down well is because I just can't focus well enough live to show you, you know, what to do with each train and so on and so forth. Reason being is because I just can't, for whatever reason, get into tutorial giving mode. Because to me, I just sound ridiculous whilst I'm saying, oh, now press this, and then when you press this, you'll get, you know. So that does raise an interesting point, because I did see on the roadmap stream that they were considering improving tutorials. And then I started to wonder, how would that be done exactly? You know, what do we want to see from tutorials to make it easier to play, easier for new people to understand, easier for returning players to understand? And you know, they already offer tutorial missions, as it were. You know, you can do a tutorial for the class 166, for example. You only drive it very, very briefly. You pretty much set it going and then stop, but still, that is the definition of a tutorial. The only problem is it's not in-depth enough for my tastes. Reason being is because all of the in-depth information that you'll need to know if you ever want to do anything more than basic with these trains is you have to go and find the manual. And the manual is pretty much from Steam. So if you've got Steam and you've been a constant user of it, you'd likely already know about this. However, for people on console, there are no easy ways to find that, because I've never seen the game openly tell me, oh, by the way, there's manuals on Steam or from this specific link. Never seen that. And honestly, that's just not ideal. That's not something that I think is very helpful. It's not user friendly. It's not well, for a start, the manuals themselves, they're good, they're decent. I wouldn't say that they're perfect, but they do the trick, you know. But then the problem arises where you've got to contact an external source to find the answers. Rather than the game itself telling you all these answers, you've got to go elsewhere. So I'm kind of wondering, should they include these manual pages in the game? Like, you can, you know, turn them physically in the game, like go to pause menu, click on manuals, and then scroll through the list. I mean, that's a lot easier than firing up a laptop or a PC and looking on these PDF documents, which essentially is what they boil down to. You could, in theory, print those off and have them a physical copy with you, but you know, not everyone has a printer printer, and it's going to be expensive to print them off in colour. So yeah, maybe they just need to do more in-depth tutorials. Maybe have a list of things like, oh, how do I start the engine? How do I turn on AWS? How do I reset the emergency brake procedure? How do I do this? How do I do that? You know, just go thing by thing, like a Q&A almost, and then maybe have a little video available to be played in-game, so then they can physically see, you know, oh, this is the button you press, and then this button, and then that button, and then, you know, they get to see it. I mean, that might work. That may very well do the trick. But, you know, tutorials, it's a bit of a hard one, because at that point, there is sort of a tutorial at the start of every single route. If you get a new route, you'll likely be taken straight to the experience mission, as I like to call it. It's the, oh hey, welcome to the, I don't know, the Glasgow Cathcart Circle expansion, or whatever it is. This DLC is all about blah blah blah. You know, tilt the camera up to look in this direction, then look at these points, and then, oh look, here's a collectible, here's a train, get on the train, let's see what else there is to experience. You know the stuff if you've already played the game. And that, to me, as someone who knows how to play the game, is just annoying. I don't think you should be required to play that if you just settled down and bought a route, because, to be fair, you should be able to tell that I've already played the game before. I think it should be, tutorials should be an optional thing across the board. And obviously for new players, they're going to need to watch those tutorials, so, you know, when they first start the game up, say, oh yeah, the tutorials are in this section, if you need to find them, and then just, okay, on with the game now, because at that point, people who have returned, who already know what to do, they might get a bit annoyed if you keep shoving tutorials in their face. But to me, it will add to the experience. It'd be nice to know that they're there, even though I know how to drive most of the trains in the game. It would be nice to have some in-depth information coming from the game itself, rather than some PDF document somewhere. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense. Does to me, anyway. So, we'll see. Maybe get some YouTubers to do some tutorials and have them linked. I don't know. It's a start. Don't ask me to do it though, because I'm just not of that mindset. I can do like a no commentary tutorial video, I guess, but not one with me speaking. And yeah, I think that's about it. As far as other things go, pretty usual affair, really. I've been playing Minecraft again. That's been pretty fun, I guess. Fun, I'm putting in quotations, because at the end of the day, it's the Bedrock edition on console now. It's a pain, it's just not ideal. It's been a pain just getting people on the same console as me to join me in the game, because for some reason it doesn't seem to like to connect, even though you're on the same platform. The internet is fine, their connection is fine. There's just no need for it to be like that. There's no need for it to be the Bedrock edition. There's just no rhyme nor reason to why it won't connect when you're on the same platform. I get it if you're on a different platform, then there might be some issues, but yeah, it's its own thing. Will I be making Minecraft videos? Probably not. GTA San Andreas playthrough, still working on it in the background, haven't got the thumbnail sorted. Will do as soon as possible. And now it's time to pretty much end this video. I do hope you enjoyed watching and getting caught up on things. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay as well. So I'll see you next time when I do another video. Hopefully that's going to be soon. And yeah, have a good day, take care, stay safe, see you all around.